My professor said use any resources for the final exam, so I hired an expert to sit next to me. My high colonics professor, Dr. Harmon, was notorious for impossible exams. His midterm had a 42% class average, and he seemed proud of it. Real-world economics isn't multiple choice, he'd say with a smirk. When he announced the final would be worth 60% of our grade, panic spread through the lecture hall. Then came his surprising declaration: for the final exam, you may use any resources you want, parent books, notes, laptops, anything. The exam will be designed accordingly. Students exchanged confused glances. Was this mercy from the infamous Dr. Harmon? Any resources? Someone clarified. Any resources, he confirmed with that same smirk, buying whatever helps you. You'll need it. Most students assumed this meant the test would be so difficult that even with materials we'd struggle. But I noticed he didn't say any materials barred, he said any resources. The university's academic policy defined cheating as using unauthorized resources during an exam. If all resources were authorized, was anything actually off limits? I approached Dr. Harmon after class. Just to clarify, when you say any resources, does that include other people? He laughed dismissively. Quarter, bring whoever you want, but remember, only enrolled students can receive a grade. My cousin Derek had just finished his PhD in economics and Marty. He was visiting family nearby during our finals week. When I explained my situation, he found it amusing and agreed to help. On exam day, I arrived with Derek beside me. Dr. Harmon's eyes widened as we took our seats in the front row. By resource, I replied calmly. You said we could use any resources, and you specifically confirmed that included people when I asked. I was being facetious, he sputtered. Your syllabus states that all exam instructions will be provided in writing, I countered. Your written instructions say any resources with no exclusions. Here is nothing in the university policy prohibiting this. If the professor authorizes it. Other students watched in stunned silence. Other Harmon's face cycled through several shades of red. Fine, he finally said, but your resource cannot speak during the exam. You didn't specify that limitation previously. I noted PUD rules during the exam would violate university testing policies. We had reached an impasse in front of 25 witnesses. Dr. Harmon knew he was cornered by his own words. Very well, he said tightly. Let's see if your resource can help you with this exam. When he distributed the test, I understood his confidence. The exam wasn't calculations or theory part. He was a complex case study requiring original economic analysis of an obscure market failure. No textbook solutions would help, but Derek wasn't a textbook. He specialized in market failure analysis for 3 hours. Derek quietly explained concepts while I wrote the analysis. Other students with their stacks of books and notes struggled through, occasionally glancing at us with a mix of admiration and envy when time was called. Dr. Harmon snatched my exam first, skimming it with narrowed eyes. See me in my office tomorrow, he said quietly. The next day I prepared for the worst. Would he report me for some policy violation? File me on a technicality. Your exam was perfect, he said when I entered his office. Graded level analysis, thank you, I replied cautiously. Who was your resource? He asked. I explained Derek's credentials. To my surprise, Dr. Harmon laughed part genuinely, this time without the smirk. In 30 years of teaching, no one has ever interpreted my instructions quite like that, he said. You found a loophole and exploited it perfectly, Perta. That's exactly the kind of creative problem solving real economics requires. He gave me an Afropic in the course and later wrote me a glowing recommendation for graduate school. He even invited Derek to guest lecture the following semester. Dr. Harmon still tells the story to his first-year classes as a lesson about precise language and creative solutions, and he's changed his exam instructions to any written resources ever since. Sometimes the most valuable economic principle is finding opportunity in ambiguity.